So, TCL decided to go big and has now unleashed its XL collection. You may have heard the news because they've made a pretty big deal about it. Let me tell you though, big deal is a bit of an understatement. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and today I'm reviewing the TCL R745 85-inch 4K HDR Roku TV. Now, TCL's XL collection includes 3 models, so we're going to talk about that, see where this TV fits in the lineup, and then we're going to give this monster the old Caleb TV review rundown to see if it's worth ponying up quite a few extra bucks to put a seriously big screen in your home. We have a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Before we dive in, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you who have recently subscribed to this channel. We're about to tip over 800,000 subscribers on our way to that million mark, which is amazing. So huge thanks for that. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that now. And while you're down there, let me know in the comments how long you've been a fan of this channel. I'm super curious. Also, as always, we have shopping links to the products you see in our videos down in the description if you'd like to support us that way. Thanks again. Okay, let's go. So let's start by talking about the new TCL XL Collection in general, because I think the different models available might be a little confusing to anyone who is familiar with TCL's model naming convention. You might know TCL has an entry-level 4 series, a slightly upgraded 5 series, and of course I think most folks know about the 6 series since it's been so popular for several years now. Well, the XL Collection kind of steps away from that 4, 5, 6 lineup a bit, but it's actually pretty easy to understand. The base model of the XL Collection is a lot like the 4 series in that it doesn't have full array local dimming backlighting. The R745 here does have full array local dimming and supports Dolby Vision. It also has the THX gaming engine as well. The step up model from this TV is going to have OD0 technology with mini LED backlighting and will be an 8K model, so that's the super premium tier. This is all just for these new 85-inch sizes, so that's the rundown on the XL Collection. Now, let's start with the brutally obvious. This TV is huge. And yeah, I know it's 85 inches, so of course it's a big screen TV, but for reasons I can't quite put my finger on, it somehow seems bigger than other 85-inch TVs I've reviewed. Like, we just had the Vizio P-Series Quantum X in for review, also 85 inches, and somehow the R745 seems bigger. Maybe it's the stand, which is just a bit wider than the TV and consumes more space on our media cabinet. It's also pretty tall due to the elevation the legs give it, so I think that's why it just seems so big in this room. But big is the point, right? The idea is to get more of your field of view occupied so it feels like you are in a small theater. And this TV definitely achieves that. Since it's 4K, you can sit fairly close without seeing individual pixels, and it definitely has a cinematic feel to it. Plus, now that first-run movies are hitting streaming services the same day as theaters, I think the argument in favor for a really big screen makes more sense than ever before. TCL just happens to be making it more affordable for everyone. Out of the box, you have quite a few picture settings options. Be sure to turn off the low power mode because that's going to cap the TV's brightness. Then, for the most accurate picture in SDR, you're going to want to choose movie mode. In HDR, I chose dark HDR, and I choose these settings because it gets the most accurate color temperature going. Don't let the dark nomenclature fool you though. There are actually 4 backlight settings: dark, normal, bright, and brighter, so you can adjust the brightness intensity to your liking. Now, normally what I do is calibrate the 2-point white balance so it has the correct balance of red, green, and blue primaries. I did make that effort here, but since this is a Roku TV, it has an 11-point white balance, and in order to make any adjustments there, a calibrator has to use the Roku app. It's not built into the TV. On top of that, I was getting some funny readings on the white balance. I did make adjustments, and the readings came out better, but when I looked at the picture, the color was clearly all wrong. So basically, I reset it to default, and it's clear to me that out-of-box settings are more accurate than the readings I got. All of this to say, stick with the out-of-box settings since they are solid. Now, as for brightness ability, this TV is extremely powerful. At its dimmest settings in movie mode, I got 514 nits, and that ran up past 800 nits when I went into the brightest mode. In dark HDR, the dimmest backlight setting yielded just under 900 nits and ran all the way up to 2100 nits in the highest backlight setting. That's on par with the Hisense U8G and Samsung QN90A, which I just find super impressive. Fortunately, that brightness does not come at the expense of black levels, which are very good on this TV. You do see a bit of halo and blooming around bright objects on a black background, but the backlight system manages to keep that minimized. if you are sitting dead center on the TV and looking straight at it. Stand up, move around, or fail to angle the TV down at you if it's elevated on the wall, and the backlight becomes far more obvious. That's par for the course with most LCD-based TVs, save the most advanced sets like the Samsung QN90A, which has quite a bit of panel trickery to get better off-angle viewing. One issue I have noticed with the backlighting though is that when you have a big bright picture like this with a moving object, you'll see just a bit of flicker in the areas immediately adjacent to the moving object. In this case, it's the sky to the left of the windmill. It's not painfully obvious. In fact, I think most folks would miss it, but I am actively looking for that kind of thing and managed to catch it. Not at all a deal breaker for me, just something I wanted to mention to be as comprehensive as possible. As for color, I mentioned before, it's pretty solid right out of the box in the movie and dark HDR modes, as well as in Dolby Vision. You do need to use one of the higher backlight settings to get the most color volume in HDR, but it is capable. And this is what I've come to expect from TCL. They managed to do color very well right out of the box. Motion is also very good, even with motion smoothing measures turned off. I'm seeing less stutter with this TV despite it having a decent response time and high brightness. 24 frame per second cadence looks very movie-like, as I'd hoped. Just all around, the motion is very good. I would not, however, use the black frame insertion feature that's labeled LED motion clarity, as it causes significant flicker. If this TV has a weakness in the processing department, I feel like it's in the cleanup of low bit depth images. And that's of more concern on a big TV like this, because if you get a noisy picture, it's going to be way more obvious. This video, for instance, is rather heavily compressed and noisy by nature, and the R745 can't do much to clean it up. With that said, most premium streaming apps like Netflix, Disney+, HBO Max, etc. look very clean. It's the more compressed stuff on YouTube and content on free streaming apps like Pluto that tend to look a little noisy at times. The other thing I noticed was occasional moire, but only in tight symmetrical patterns like the grids in the buildings on this New York flyover shot. Other tightly detailed areas like the features on birds, for example, are super clean. Panel uniformity on this TV is okay. Again, due to its size, you're more likely to see dirty screen effect if it exists, and we are getting a little bit of that on this TV, but there's no heavy banding going on, which is good news. Again, the screen uniformity is going to be a matter of the panel lottery, so there's not a ton you can do to predict what it will look like. You just have to get the TV home and out of the box to see. Hopefully, TCL keeps the quality control tight and the XL Collection comes out looking clean overall. The sound quality on this TV is fine. I'm not super wowed out by it in terms of fidelity, but I will say the subwoofer on the back does a great job of providing a good amount of bass, so the sound comes off as big as the screen itself. Still, you get a screen this big, I would say spring for a soundbar. Even an inexpensive soundbar is going to give you better clarity, and it just so happens TCL makes those too. As for gaming, the TV's low input lag is a bonus for gamers, but you're not going to get the full HDMI 2.1 experience. The good news is you can game at 120 Hz at 1440 resolution, but if you go up to 4K, you're going to be busted down to 60 Hz. But it manages to balance everything so that you can still get 10-bit color and variable refresh rate and HDR gaming all at the same time. So with the exception of the fact that you can't do full 4K 120 Hz, it's an excellent TV for gaming. So overall, we're looking at a really solid 85-inch TV here. I feel like we're getting slightly better performance than the 6 series even, thanks to the much higher brightness potential. So it's impossible for me not to recommend considering this TV. I think the real bonus is going to be the price, as TCL provides pretty significant value considering the performance of its TVs. To put a bow on it, this is the same high-quality, high-value experience that TCL has become known for, just bigger. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. What do you think of TCL's move with this XL collection? Let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. Also, please consider sharing this video with your friends. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you like this video. And here's 2 other videos I think you might like.